Classification of soil according to AASHTO by Fairyza Estabillo. They are the American Association of State Highway and Transportation Officials. The AASHTO classification system is used mostly by state and county highway departments. What is AASHTO classification system? The AASHTO system of soil classification was developed in 1929 as the Public Road Administration Classification System. It has undergone several revisions, with the present version proposed by the Committee on Classification of Materials for Subgrades and Granular Type of Roads, the Highway Research Board in 1945, which is ASTM designation D-3282, AASHTO method M145. Let me show you some of the apparatus that are needed. First is the set of US sieves. Next is Atterberg limit test apparatus. Atterberg limits testing is a group of tests used to define the properties of cohesive soils at different moisture contents. Gilson carries all the equipment needed to perform liquid limit, plastic limit, and shrinkage limit test in accordance with ASTM D-D4318 and ASTM D-4943 standards and other associated test methods. Another apparatus is weighing balance. And the last apparatus is drying oven. AASHTO classification system procedures. According to this system, the soil is classified into 7 major groups, which is A-1 through A-7. Soils classified under groups A-1, A-2, and A-3 are granular materials of which 35% or less of particles pass through number 200 sieve. Soils of which more than 35% pass through the number 200 sieve are classified under groups A-4, A-5, A-6, and A-7. These soils are mostly silt and clay type materials. This classification system is based on the following criteria. Number 1. Grain size. For gravel, fraction passing the 75 mm or 3-inch sieve and retained on the number 10 or 2 mm US sieve. For sand, fraction passing the number 10 or 2 mm US sieve and retained on the number 200 or 0.75 mm US sieve. And for slate and clay, fraction passing the number 200 US sieve. Number 2. Plasticity. The term silty is applied when the fine fraction of the soil have a plasticity index of 10 or less. The term clayey is applied when the fine fraction have a plasticity index of 11 or more. Number 3. If cables and boulders size larger than 75 mm are encountered, they are excluded from the portion of the soil sample from which classification is made. However, the percentage of such material is recorded. Table 1. Classification of highway subgrade materials. To classify soil according to the figure, one must apply the test data from left to right. By process of elimination, the first group from the left into which the test data fit is the correct classification. The below figure shows a plot of the range of the liquid limit and the plasticity index for soils that fall into groups A-1, A-4, A-5, A-6, and A-7. Group Index or GI. To evaluate the quality of a soil, as a highway subgrade material, one must also incorporate a number called the group index with the groups and subgroups of the soil. This index is written in parentheses after the group of subgroup designation. The group index is given by the equation. In this picture, range of liquid limit and plasticity index for soils in group A-2, A-4, A-5, A-6, and A-7. And for the example for the group index, we have here the equation 1, wherein F200 is equals to the percentage passing through the number 200 sieve. The double L stands for liquid limit, PI, plasticity index. The first term of equation 1, that is F200 minus 35 times 0.2 plus 0.005 times liquid limit of 40 is the partial group index determined from the liquid limit. The second term, that is 0.01 times F200 minus 15 times the plasticity index minus 10 is the partial group index determined from the plasticity index. Here are some rules on how to determine the group index. If equation 1 yields on a negative value for group index, it is taken as 0. The group index calculated from equation 1 is rounded off to the nearest whole number. For example, group index is equals to 3.4 is rounded off to 3.5. There is no upper limit for the group index. The group index of soils belonging to groups A-1-A, A-1-B, A-2-4, A-2-5, and A-3 is always 0. When calculating the group index for soil that belongs to a groups A-2-6 and A-2-7, use the partial group index for plasticity index, or the group index is equals to 0.01 times F200 minus 15 times PI minus 10, or the equation 2. For example number 1, classify the following soil using a AASHTO system. The percent passing sieve number 10 is equals to 100%, the sieve number 40 is 80%, and the sieve number 200 is 58%. And for our liquid limit, we have 30%, and for our plasticity limit, we have 20%. For the solution, we are going to solve for the plasticity index. For us to solve, we have to minus the liquid limit to the plasticity limit, which will give us the 10%. The percent passing sieve number 200 is greater than 35. Therefore, the soil is A-4, A-5, A-6, or A-7. So for the liquid limit, we have 30%, and the plasticity index, we have 30%. Therefore, the soil is A-4. So for our group index, we'll have F200 minus 35 times 0.2 plus 0.005 times the liquid limit minus 40 plus 0.01 times F200 minus 15 times plasticity index minus 10. For that, it will give us a group index of 3.5 round to 3. Therefore, the final soil classification is A-4. And for our example number 2, 95% of a soil passes through the number 200 sieve and has a liquid limit of 60% and a plasticity limit of 20%. Classify the soil by AASHTO system. So for our plasticity index, 60 minus 20, it will give us 40%. The passing sieve number 200 is equals to 95%. Therefore, the soil is A-7. For A-7-5, plasticity index is less than or equal to the liquid limit minus 30 equals to 40 minus 30, it will give us 10, which is not correct. And for the A-7-6, plasticity index is greater than liquid limit equals to 30 equals to 40 minus 30 equals to 10, which is correct. Therefore, the soil classified as A-7-6. Hence, for our group index, F200 minus 35 times 0.2 plus 0.005 times the liquid limit minus 4 plus 0.01 times F200 minus 15 and the plasticity minus 10. It will give us 42. So the final soil classification is A-7-6.